ಹಾ
ಹಾ ಕೇಳ್ತದೆ.
हरे कृष्णा। धन्यवाद प्रणाम प्रभु जी।
Okay, we'll start.
हरे कृष्णा। दंडवत प्रणाम।
Dandad bro. Okay. Video. Okay. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayate. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं चैतन्यमीश्वरम् ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुं मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणि निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणि। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So, welcome you all for Bhagavatam discussion. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, Passing Away of Bhishma Dev in the presence of the Lord. Today, which verse, Mataji?
I think it's from 30th verse, Prabhuji.
30, huh?
Yeah.
Is it sure? Is it
27? Prabhuji, 27 we are ready to
Oh,
start.
27.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that's where we stopped here. Okay, so we'll read 27. Who is going to read? It's been allocated or?
It's being allocated to Sumit Prabhuji.
Okay, Sumit Prabhu, go ahead.
ओके प्रभु जी। दान धर्मान राजधर्मान मोक्ष धर्मान विभागशः स्त्री धर्मान भागवत धर्मान समासा व्यास योगता। Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
jai. He then explained by divisions act of charity, the pragmatic activities of a king, and activities for salvation. Then he described the duties of women and devotees both briefly and extensively. Purport. To give charity is one of the householder's main functions, and he should be prepared to give in charity at least 50% of his hard-earned money. A brahmachari or a student should perform sacrifices, a householder should give charity, and a person in the retired life or the renounced order should practice penances and austerities. Those are the general functions of all the ashramas or orders of life on the path of self-realization. In the brahmachari life, the training is sufficiently imparted so that one may understand that the world as property belongs to the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead. No one, therefore, can claim to be the proprietor of anything in the world. Therefore, in the life of a householder, which is a sort of license for sex enjoyment, one must give in charity for the service of the Lord. Everyone's energy is generated or borrowed from the reservoir of energy of the Lord. Therefore, the resultant actions of such energy must be given to the Lord in the shape of transcendental loving service for Him. As the rivers draw water from the sea through the clouds and again go down to the sea, similarly, our energy is borrowed from the Supreme Source, the Lord's energy, and it must return to the Lord. That is the perfection of our energy. The Lord, therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita 9.27 says that whatever we do, whatever we undergo as penance, whatever we sacrifice, whatever we eat, or whatever we give in charity must be offered to Him, the Lord. That is the way of utilizing our borrowed energy. When our energy is utilized in that way, our energy is purified from the contamination of material inebrities, and thus we become fit for our original natural life of service to the Lord. Raj Dharmais is a great science. Unlike modern diplomacy for political supremacy, the king were trained systematically to become munificent and not merely be tax collector. They were trained to perform different sacrifices only for the prosperity of the subjects. To lead the prajas to the attainment of salvation was a great duty of the king. The father, the spiritual master, and the king are not to become irresponsible in the matter of leading their subject to the path of ultimate liberation from birth, death, disease, and old age. When these primary duties are properly discharged, there is no need of government of the people by the people. In modern days, the people in general occupy the administration by the strength of manipulated votes, but they are never trained in the primary duties of the king, and that is also not possible for everyone. Under the circumstances, the entrained administrations play havoc to make the subjects happy in all respects. On the other hand, these entrained administrators gradually become rogues and thieves and increase the taxation to finance a top heavy administration that is useless for all purposes. Actually, the qualified brahmanas are meant to give direction to the kings for proper administration in terms of the scriptures like the Manu Samhita and the Dharma Shastra of Parashara. A typical king is the idol of the people in general, and if the king is pious, religious, chivalrous, and munificent citizens generally follow him. Such a king is not lazy, sensuous person living at the cost of the subjects, but alert always to kill thieves and dacoits. The pious king were not merciful to dacoits and thieves in the name of nonsensical ahimsa. The thieves and dacoits were punished in an exemplary way so that in the future no one would dare commit such nuisance in the organized form. Such thieves and dacoits were never meant for administration as they are now. The taxation law was simple. There was no force, no encroachment. The king had a right to take 1/4 of the production made by the subject. The king had a right to claim the fourth of one's allocated wealth. One would never grudge parting with it because due to the pious king and religious harmony, there was enough natural wealth, namely grains, fruit, flowers, silk, cotton, milk, jewels, minerals, etc. And therefore, no one was materially unhappy. The citizens were rich in agriculture and animal husbandry, and therefore they had enough grains, food, fruits, and milk without any artificial need of soaps and toilets, cinemas, and bars. The king had to see that the reserved energy of humanity was properly utilized. Human energy is meant not exactly for fulfilling animal propensities, but for self-realization. The whole government was specifically designed to fulfill this particular purpose. As such, the king has to select properly the cabinet ministers, but not on the strength of voting background. The ministers, the military commanders, and even the ordinary soldiers were all selected by personal qualification, and the king had to supervise them properly before they were appointed to their respective posts. The king was specially vigilant to see that the tapasvis or persons who have sacrificed everything for disseminating spiritual knowledge were never disregarded. The king knew well that the Supreme Personality of Godhead never tolerates any insult to his unalloyed devotees. Such tapasvis were trusted leaders even of the rogues and thieves who would never disobey the order of the tapasvis. The king would give special protection to illiterates, the helpless, and widows of the state. Defense measures were arranged previous to any attack by the enemies. The taxing process was easy and it was not meant for squandering but was for the strengthening the reserve fund. The soldiers were recruited from all parts of the world and they were trained for special duties. As far as as far as salvation is concerned, one has to conquer the principle of lust, anger, unlawful desires, avarice, and bewilderment. To get freedom from anger, one should learn how to forgive. To be free from unlawful desires, one should not make plans. By spiritual culture, one is able to conquer sleep. By tolerance, one can conquer desires and avarice. Disturbances from various diseases can be avoided by regulated diets. By self-control, one can be free from false hopes, and money can be saved by avoiding undesirable association. By practice of yoga, one can control anger, and worldly less can be avoided by culturing the knowledge of impermanence. Dizziness can be conquered by rising up, and false argument can be conquered by factual ascertainment. Talkativeness can be avoided by gravity and silence, and by prowess one can avoid fearfulness. Perfect knowledge can be obtained by self cultivation. One must be free from lust, avarice, anger, dreaming, etc., to actually attain the path of salvation. As far as the women class are concerned, they are accepted as power of inspiration for men. As such, women are more powerful than men. Mighty Julius Caesar was controlled by Cleopatra. Such powerful women are controlled by shyness. Therefore, shyness is important for women. Once this control valve is loosened, women can create havoc in society by adultery. Adultery means production of unwanted children known as Vanasankara who disturb the world. The last item taught by Bhishmadeva was the process of pleasing the Lord. We are all eternal servants of the Lord, and when we forget this essential part of our nature, we are put into material condition of life. The simple process of pleasing the Lord, for the householder especially, is to install the deity of the Lord at home. By concentrating on the deity, one may progressively go on with the daily routine work. Worshipping the deity at home, serving the devotee, hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, residing in a holy place, and chanting the holy name of the Lord are all inexpensive items by which one can please the Lord. Thus, the subject matter was explained by the grandfather to his grandchildren.
Hare Krishna, Vijay. I think we have a sufficient point to discuss here. Maybe we can let's spend time each paragraph. Sumit Prabhu, go ahead. Each paragraph we can discuss in details because this is
Yeah.
mainly for grahasthas.
Yeah. So,
We are in.
yeah, Prabhu. So in the first paragraph, he explained about the charity. So in the charity, as per the scriptures, it is written like one should give at least 50% of his hard-earned money to in charity. So in the modern age, I don't know how much that is possible, but yeah, definitely he should keep some amount for giving to the charity out of his income. And as we know, like the other three ashrams are depending on for the finances. They are depending on the grahasthas, because brahmachari or the students, they should perform sacrifices, and householder actually will give the charity, and the person in sannyas and vanaprastha, they will do the austerities and penances. So the duty for maintaining all the other ashramas is on the grahasthas. So that is his duty to give charity. So then for other all ashramas,
Grihastha is only one who can earn money.
yes,
Others
yes,
not supposed to earn.
yes,
So as you rightly said, it's a Grihastha's responsibility to take care of them. So that is one of the key problem today in the society, right? Grihastha thinks that I earned money, it's my money.
yeah,
Actually, Prabhupada writes in a third canto, one of the purport. He says the whole wealth belongs to sannyasis and brahmacharis, not for Grihastha. Grihasthas are only caretaker. As soon as they come and ask, they have to just give it. So that is the mood in which the Grihastha should work.
yeah. And actually, is written like Prabhupada has written like the all the energy that is coming, that is borrowed from the Lord. So even money or whatever is coming, that is coming from the Lord only. So when this is also form of energy only. So when we are getting all this, so like example of a river is given. The river get the water from the sea in form of evaporation. Water will come from the sea, and then the clouds will give rains, and ultimately the rivers will be filled, and again the rivers will flow into the sea only. So similarly, this is the perfection of energy, as Prabhupada writes. So therefore, in the same way, whatever we do, like that shloka is there in Bhagavad Gita 9.27.
Yat karoshi.
Yat karoshi yad asnasi yad uh, uh, yat tapasyasi konteya tat kurushvamar darpanam. So in that shloka also, it's just said like whatever you do, whatever penance you are doing, whatever sacrifice you are giving, whatever you are eating, whatever you are giving in charity, just offer to me, Lord is saying. So that is the correct way of utilizing our borrowed energy. So like in Ganga, we go, what we will do, we will just get the water from Ganga and just do the arpan to Ganga. So that's all we can do actually in this case. Also, we can get the energy from the Lord and just give back the energy to the Lord only. So in that way, actually, our heart will be purified, our consciousness will be purified of the whatever material contamination is there. So that's why the charity is very important. And then
Also,
next,
what happens that whatever we earn, it's karma comes along with that because
yes,
we
yes,
don't know what the source of that fund. So just by offering to Krishna, the karma gets purified so that our suffering is reduced.
yes,
That's the one thing. And by doing a charity, it's our there's chances for us earning more increases. The
yes,
more we give, more we get. Prabhupada gives the example of well. In the well, if you take water, the more water comes. But if you leave the water there, it becomes stagnant, it's not usable for drinking. Similarly, a wealth is not used for Krishna service, is a kind of a stagnant, stinching. It cannot be used by anybody. So that's the point Prabhupada makes. Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
In the next paragraph, Raj Dharma is explained, like how the what are the duties of the king and how they were trained in the past. Like systematically, they were trained to become munificent and not just the tax collector. Like they have other duties towards the praja. What is their dharma to the praja, and he is to give protection and he has to look for their spiritual growth as well. Because I think I read somewhere that whatever karmas the praja is doing, that one sixth
1/6 goes.
1/6 goes to the king. So if they're doing a lot of sinful activities, that also go to the king. So that's why the kings are trained in a such a way that they look on not only for the well-being of the citizens but also for their spiritual growth. So the old times, the kings were known as the Raja Rishis because they were like the saintly kings. So they had to lead the project for the towards the liberation. That was one of the duty of the king. So Prabhupada write like the father and the spiritual master and the king are not to become irresponsible in the matter of leading their subject to the path of ultimate liberation. So that is their prime duty. So they should not become irresponsible of their duty. But if you compare to the today's situation, the leaders are just they are just bothered about winning the election and getting somehow on the in the parliament and getting power. They are least bothered about what is happening to the public. Forget the spiritual advancement. They are not even bothering about the even their well-being also. So that is the degradation that has happened because now anyone can become like a minister. There is no qualification, just you get the votes and that's it. Whether you are previously coming from a criminal background or whatever, you are educated properly or not, just because you are getting votes you can become the, from the jail also you can fight the elections.
Mhm.
So that's the
To get
irony here.
vote, we need money. That's it.
Yeah,
Somehow earn money, bribe, and get vote.
yes.
Then become a leader.
And
That's
for
what
getting the votes, they are ready to have the rights, and people killing people, everything. They just want to have power. So that is the degradation that has happened, because now that whole system has been changed, and in the name of the democracy, like Prabhupada used to say, it's not a democracy, it's a democracy. So because a lot of demons are coming out of this. And the previously how the kings were there, they were properly trained, and the brahmanas were there to assist them in taking a decision. So any decision king has to take, he will consult the brahmanas. So brahmanas will guide them as per the shastra, like what is the correct thing to do. And nowadays everything is like whimsically they are doing. So because of that, the degradation is coming.
And kings also, they're not covered like today's, like, the war happens, they will be in the forefront. They will the one
Yeah.
first one to die. They will
Yes.
not just send the soldiers and you die and I'll enjoy. That's not the mood.
Yeah.
But today's, where are these ministers? They don't have the Kshatriya, quality or even a tinge of Kshatriya quality. So how can they rule?
Yeah. Some
So,
of the
yeah,
some of the would-be prime ministers, they will actually run away. If a war will happen, they will run away to the foreign country. Some people who wanted to be PM now, like that kind of people are there. So, but while talking, they will talk very big things. So this is happening. Like even foreign countries, if we are seeing that they're just sitting and just giving orders for firing the missiles, but they will not take part in this. They will not lead from the front. They will just order for merciless killing. So that is the situation of the today's age.
So Prabhupada
And
says, as a practicing devotee, we should be very careful voting it. We should vote. Definitely, we should vote. We should select a right person, because that's the way country can be ruled. And we cannot be responsible. There are, people thinking that, no, what we can do. We can definitely we can do. One, we can vote nicely, select the right person. Or if you have a Kshatriya quality, among us, the person who ready to get to that, yes, get into politics, but unless you have qualification, don't get into that. If you
yeah,
have to get and try yourself. And another important point is that we should educate people. It's the most important thing ISKCON can do. We should educate people who how to vote, what to way to select a leader. Because that's another area, especially India, people don't vote. People don't select right leader. Yeah, sometimes we feel that all are corrupt. At least select the best
Uh-huh.
among the best.
yeah. Nowadays that freebie culture has come. That is also actually ruining everything. Like people just for few things, like okay, I will get this thing free and that thing free. They're voting for parties. They'll know that they will come and loot, but at least they're thinking, okay, at least my electricity bill will be waived off. So these kind of things are happening. So yeah, we should vote like very responsibly. So whoever is the best candidate among, as you said, best among the worst, at least that much we can do. And one more thing that Prabhupada read here is like the
Tax laws, it
for the
talks about.
criminals and the thieves,
True.
that we should, that the king should punish them. Like he should not be like uh, just engaged in the sensual pleasures and all those things, but he should be maintaining the correct law and order, and always alert to kill the thieves and ducats. They should not show mercy in that sense, just for saying for ahimsa. But because if you are saving those people, they will cause a lot of hinsa. So we have to stop that much hinsa by punishing them. So that is another thing Prabhupada
Today's
mentioned here.
slogan is that let the 100 criminals be let, but one, the innocent should not be punished. That's a slogan. So,
Mhm.
And, we want all the criminals on the street.
So nowadays the situation of law and order, we can see like it's not very good. So daily some incident is happening. So yeah,
Okay.
that
Next.
also has to be very strict laws should be there for them. And then taxation, Prabhupada wrote about the taxation was much more simpler than now. There was no force, no encroachment, and there was a like production, like, one fourth of the production the king used to take, and it was very simple. And that was not for just increasing the wealth of the king, but that is for the
Emergency
emergency purposes and for
maintenance.
maintenance. So that was the idea, not like for himself. King was doing like taking everything and just enjoying himself. So that is also one of the thing that is now vanished. So we are paying taxes, but we are getting the roads like potholes, and like ministers are making big houses, and when they are coming, then the roads will be done nicely because they should not feel the potholes. So these kind of things are happening, and that time citizens were like they were rich in agriculture and animal husbandries, and they have sufficient things for their maintenance, their survival, like the grains, fruits, and milks. The life was also like not the same kind of lifestyles we are having in the current age. It is now factory based kind of thing now. Previously it was agriculture and this animal husbandry based things were there, where they will produce the grains, fruit, milk, and through that their survival was there. There was not much complexity in the life. Now it is becoming more and more complex life. Just for us survival, it look like we need lot of things nowadays. So mm, that also his like Prabhupada has wrote like without any artificial need of soaps, toilets, cinemas, and bars, and a lot of things have come up nowadays. Like it looks like without that things, people will not survive. It looks like that, but these are like the additional artificial things that is being imposed on us, or we can say we have embraced those things, and we are thinking like without that we will not survive. So that is the difference we can see from the olden days and the now. So,
Yeah. Prabhupada brings out the protection of devotees, and of course, the Brahmana class, Tapasvis talks about that. He says king and knew very well that the Supreme Personality God never tolerate any insult to his unallied devotees. So
mhm.
that protection is given. So throughout the history of Bhagavatam, Mahabharata, we can see how kings were so protective. But today it's totally opposite. Adharmis are protected, dharmis are punished. That's a
And
whole.
yeah, it is written like that. Even that rogues and thieves, they were also like they were also not disobey the orders of the tapasvis. So they were also having some dharma that time. So, but nowadays, everything is like very much degraded. So, and the king will give a special protection to the illiterates, helpless, and widows. But nowadays, everything is becoming like a vote bank. If they will talk about something that they are expecting votes from them. So previously it was like becoming a king is a lot of responsibility and selfless thing was
Yeah,
there, but now it is all about power, becoming a like politician. So that is the mental shift has happened. Instead of service, it has become like for uh,
enjoyment.
enjoyment. Yeah.
True. And those days, those who are not qualified, they will not become king. They will
Yeah.
not come forward. They'll say, sorry, I'm not qualified. But
Mm,
today it's opposite. Hmm.
mm,
Okay, next paragraph. Bro.
mm. And for the salvation, like Prabhupada wrote like that one has to conquer lot of things like the lust, anger, unlawful desires, avarice, and bewilderment. And how to get off all those things, he has written like for getting out of freedom from anger, one has to learn how to forgive. From unlawful desires, one should not make plans. by spiritual culture, one is able to conquer sleep. Like all these things, how to conquer those things, Prabhupada has mentioned. And based on that, once person started practicing those things, then his path towards salvation is becoming easier and easier. And perfect knowledge can be obtained by self cultivation, and one get free from all these things, lust, avarice, anger, dreaming, etc. Then he can attain the path of salvation. And about the woman class, he written like they are accepted as a power of inspiration for men, but they should have shyness. Once the shyness is gone from a woman, then that they can create a lot of havoc in the society. We have seen the examples of such kind of things when women become uh, like shyless, then a lot of havoc can happen. Adultery will come, and then unwanted children will come, so by which the world will be disturbed. And lastly, he told about how to please the Lord, Vishnudev tell. And like we are all the servants of Lord, and once we forget this essential part, then we come into this material conditions of life. So for pleasing the Lord, we have to install the deity of the Lord, and then we have to concentrate on the deity, and one may progressively go on with the daily routine work, worship the deity, serve the devotees, hear the Srimad Bhagavatam, then reside in a holy place and chanting the holy name of the Lord. By this, these are all like things which are not expensive. Anybody can do these things, and one can please the Lord. So this is all that Bhishmadev has explained in this verse, and Prabhupada very wonderfully explained. It's quite a big purport, but very nicely explained a lot of things here. Yes,
So,
Prabhu.
possible all of us has to read this purport again and again, so that because it's mainly meant for us, that because it's a very practical Prabhupada is saying here. It's not something impractical. So we should all read again and again, see how much we can implement in our life. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that, and within the Varnashrama, more particularly described dana or charity, king's duties and duties attaining liberation, woman's duties, finally duties of Lord Bhagavad Dharma. This refers to the anga of bhakti. It is placed on the end of indicate that the best described them as a brief and detail. So at the end, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is saying that bhakti is ultimate. Somehow or other, we should get into bhakti. And once bhakti is there, everything else comes into, falls into place. That's what the Prabhupada also concluding. Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur also concluding. With this, we'll stop here. Devotees can share their comments. Any questions? Please go ahead. Who want to start? Asha Mataji, want to start?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Mataji.
As you said, I think so we have to read it again and again. But my takeaway today is how we should involve ourselves in bhakti. And I have a question. Involving in bhakti, does that mean that chanting, reading holy books, and performing deity worship?
The Srila Rupa Goswami gives his 5 angas of bhakti. One is staying in the Holy Dham. Holy Dham means visiting the Holy Dham, staying in Holy Dham, reading Bhagavatam, Vaishnava Seva, and chanting the holy name, and reading Bhagavatam. So these are the 5 angas of bhakti says. So whatever related to that, so like for example, reading Bhagavatam and preaching Bhagavatam to somebody else, chanting the holy name and telling other to chant, distributing prasadam, and yourself going to yatra, the holy dhams, wherever Krishna's temples are there, Vishnu temples are there. These are all part of bhakti, so that I involve myself in the anga of bhakti. And in that, Prabhupada brings out that as a grahastha, whatever we earn, that's a charity we should help brahmachari, vanaprastha and sannyasi so that they are also taken care.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, others, who is Asha Mataji, Archana Mataji, want to say anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. No Prabhuji. Thank you. Prabhuji.
Okay, Deepak Prabhu joined first time today, or want to say something? No. Okay,
Yes,
Murali
Prabhuji.
Prabhu. It's okay,
First
Deepak
time.
Prabhu, go ahead. Okay, want to say anything, Prabhu?
Main thing I will take away is to overcome anger, we must learn forgiveness.
Yesterday, Jagashash Prabhu, who came, he was saying that whenever you get anger, 12 minutes of life reduced resumes. So, how many minutes, how many hours reduced, how many days reduced in our life?
Years.
Yeah, we should think about it. Yeah. And the heart specialist, Dr. B.M. Hegde, he says that whenever I get angry, the body generates so many negative energy inside the body. So many of the diseases comes us because of that. So it's natural. So we need to be careful on that. Okay. Next, who is that? Mariappan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. In this purport, Bhishma Deva has very detailedly explored and compared the past and present societies governed by present political system and the past political system of kings, and what way it is superior he has highlighted. And 50% of earning must be handed over towards dana by the grahasthas. All the energies are borrowed from Lord. Hence, the same must be offered back with gratitude to Lord so as to escape from karma. In the past, mere tax collection was the duty of God. In the present, mere tax collection is the duty of government. Whereas in the past they were not only collecting tax but guiding the people towards spiritual advancement also, which is terribly missing in the present days. In fact, to a step more, some politicians are declaring, let us abolish Sanatana Dharma, which is suicidal statements. Whereas the present democracy is full of corruption and self-centered goals. In case of war, the kings used to take up a lead and protect the citizens, whereas present political leaders hide themselves and escape from the critical situation of war. Voters are not responsible in election of the leaders. Law and orders have been very stringently implemented in the past, and all culprits were punished. Therefore, no one was dared to do any criminal activities. That way, they were creating a model life for everyone, and modern life is created with so many facilities, as if like we cannot live without those facilities, which is in real it is a myth. In fact, we must learn to lead the life as simple as possible. That is the best way of handling this life in a successful way. Adharmis are being protected, dharmis are being left to suffer in the circumstances in the present modern society. And shyness in women is appreciated by Bhishma Deva. because that is going to create a very ideal society. He has foreseen in depth. In fact, yesterday also, during the class of Sri Jagat Sakshi Prabhuji was highlighting how in the modern society, in the name of liberation, how women are being exploited in the name of liberation, which is not being really accorded liberation, but everyone is being, especially women are being cheated by the modern society. Bhakti must be
Modern
focused.
so-called the men.
Yes. And bhakti must be focused. 4 angas of bhakti must be stringently followed in order to achieve the progress of spiritual life. That much is my takeaway from Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Hare
Lakshmi
Krishna.
Mataji, anything you want to say?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mataji.
Yes. So we are, since we are all the eternal servants of the Lord, we must please the Lord by doing some of these inexpensive items given by Bhishma Deva Prabhuji. That's all.
Hmm.
And
This,
read
yeah,
Srimad
sorry.
Bhagavatam, and we can chant. These two are in our hands.
Yes,
And we should do that without asking anything from God. We should do this.
true.
That's all, Prabhuji.
And this explanation given by Srila Prabhupada, purport given by Prabhupada, the Bhishmadeva gives a very gist of it. But Srila Prabhupada expanded on that and given more.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So, Rajaratnam Prabhu, want to say anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I think you and Sumit Prabhu have joined. Everybody has given elaborate things. But one thing, my question is, he has told 50% at that time charity in those days. But are we doing the charity right now? I think as per the Veda, it says 10% should be given for as a charity. That too, it should be earned through a right way, not the money earned through some other source. Because those days, the money was earned only through some agricultures and cattle feeding and all those things. It was very small. Now, a lot of things base out for earning money. So people are corrupted. Our mind is totally corrupted, and it is in a different way of things. So, are we able to give the right money through right source? Are we giving the as such? Actually, it says some 10% should be given as per the latest thing as such.
Yeah.
That's what I read from some place actually.
Yeah.
So are we doing it? That is a question mark actually. Then another thing actually, Bhishma Deva has given, he has put everything on the head of state those days. Because normally people used to say, those who are the highest position, what they do, the people will also follow. So that's what the responsibility was given to, I feel. I think like that. So king was given the major responsibility following, he should follow all those things. So those things are all missing right now. It is all because there are some gaps in them. Then another things he is expecting everybody to maintain the dharma. So that dharma has gone right. In fact, if you take nowadays, we are all highly educated. Everybody is having 2 degrees, 3 degrees, but the common sense is being lost because we are all our focus is only on the earning money and how we are going to say, all materialistic thinkings only we have. Even when we improve all those things, whether have we reduced, suppose any diseases reduced, nothing. Have we able to reduce the criminals? Even the lawyers, they are trying to make the criminals going out of the law. Actually, they are trying to safeguard the people. So like this, all these things are happening. It is all because of my understanding is lagging of the spiritual knowledge. So it is high time we have to connect our education system with the spiritual. Then only people will have the at least sense when they do all the things. That's the thing only can happen. Otherwise, it is very difficult to change this community as such. That's what my
I think,
understanding.
yeah, we all should do an effort to preach this. Each one should take out to spread this message to as many people as possible. When the people understand the scriptures, their thought process will change, whether electing or, all this process, what Bhishmadeva spoke here, Prabhupada explained. If really people understand, we'll really appreciate what Sanatana Dharma is. Because today, our own people are not appreciating because we don't know. That's the point. So, as much as we should spread this, people should read Bhagavatam. People should understand Bhagavatam. How many of us even know about Bhagavatam? That is the most important thing. We all should do it. Yeah. Who else? Yeah, Ramesh Prabhu, want to say anything?
No problem. No problem. Please continue.
Samapti Mataji, Samapti Ghosh. Anything? Shridevi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji and all pranams. What all I wanted to talk, Prabhuji's
Murali
have
Prabhu,
already.
you raised hand. I want to
Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Samapti Mataji. Go ahead.
My network.
Okay.
No, Prabhu. I understood.
Okay. Okay. So we'll end here now. Vancha kalpatarabhyasya kripa sindhubhyacha patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo ananta koti vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So as we discussed, let's spread this so as many, each one can bring one person extra tomorrow.
Ek minute, Murali Prabhu has given raise.
I asked him, you have anything, but
Fine.
he's not answering. So my humble request that each one of us get one person tomorrow extra, this Bhagavatam. So let the Bhagavatam speak, let the Bhagavatam understand by people. We can bring a change, we can all, make that change. So that's my humble request. Please possible. Hare Krishna. So we'll end the call today.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Hare Krishna.
Hare